Shalom Uvracha sisters, Shalom Uvracha brothers. I hope things are well by everyone. Baruch Hashem. We're going to learn a little bit today from Lekutei Moharan, the second Torah in Lekutei Moharan. Rebbe Nachman is teaching us that the main weapon of Mashiach is the prayer. The main tool, the main weapon that Mashiach will use to conquer the world, to bring back the light, the kingship of heaven to rule on earth, is by the power of prayer. That will be the main weapon that he will use. Shu b'chinat chotem, when it's in the aspect of the nose of a person, the nose of the Creator. The nose of the Creator, when I say that, we mean in a spiritual aspect, the angers and judgments, or the patience and the ability to stand in certain trials and not to get upset. The Creator's shape is being described in many verses as the shape of a human, and of course we know the Creator is above shape and above form. And how come the Creator's light is still being expressed like that, being explained like that? Because really we need to understand something very important. The world as we know as the world, and that we think that is reality, is really a certain illusion that we're experiencing under the dimension of time and space. Because before creation there was nothing except for the Creator himself, and his so-called light was filling the universe, and his unity was all, and there was nothing except for him. And also today there is nothing except for him, but still we experience life as individuals. We are experiencing life as individuals, and we do feel the separation of the bodies, and we do experience differences in thoughts and in opinions and in feelings. And many times a person is struggling alone and being attacked alone and being hurt alone and being happy alone. And in all those moments we experiencing a world that is full of separations, that is full of dividings. But the faith is claiming and explaining differently. The Torah, the wisdom of truth, is explaining the world differently. The Torah is telling us that the Creator, He is one, and nothing in this world is coming out of His borders and His limits. So He is above everything, and the world is part of Him. The world is inside of His being, and He is the Spirit within, and He is the Spirit that surrounds it, that hovers upon all. Now, and what about the world itself? Okay, so He is our source of life, He lives inside of us, and He is also the godly supervision on our life, and the Spirit of heaven that is hovering above the water, and on and on and on. But what about us? Are we creations? Do we have existence? Are we alive? Or that we just an illusion or a reflection? What exactly going on here in this world? So it's deep, and with time we can explain more and more about it, and for sure that more and more need to come for this wisdom to settle and to be really stable and answer all our thoughts and all our questions. So let's talk about it a little bit today. The light of the Creator that is shining is the heavenly light of unity. It's a simple light, or pashut. It's an endless light. But the Creator himself decided to send that light into another dimension, into a world that is full with bugs here in Orlando, and to send this light to a place that is thicker, that is heavier, that has physical aspects to it, when the source of light is coming from a place that is beyond. When the Creator wanted to create the world, he had to remove himself to the sides because there was no place to create anything. So he moved himself to the sides, and then after moving himself to the sides, so to speak, creating an empty space, so to speak, Halal hapanui, an empty space, in that empty space he created physicality. From the central point of that empty space, he started to build and develop the universe that we know as the world, this earth and the sky and the clouds and the stars on top of us, the galaxy, everything that we know is the physical creation. Now all of those are actually a reflection of his infinity, of his eternity, of his endless light that covers and contains and builds and makes everything to be as it is. Now that light of the Creator himself is so enormous and so great and so important that is being reflected in so many ways, in so many colors, in so many shades, and there is no only one way, only one path, only one shape that can contain all the light of the Creator, and therefore all the world with all its aspects, with all its lights, with all its the ranges on ranges of different materials and colors and shapes and forms and qualities are needed to express its godliness, because it's so great, because it's so complete, because it's so divine and so high and so perfect. It needs to have so many aspects for its light to be expressed, because there is so much of him, because he's endless, because he's above form and he's above shape. Now, when that reflection is taking place in reality, we see that as different things, different particles of creation. You have grass, you have trees, you have lakes, you have people, and different people from different nations, different cultures, different accents, different words, different times, different conversations, different ideas, different faith systems and beliefs, and all of them together are building that completion of who and what the Creator really is. Now, we know that the Creator created humans, and people, they are holding inside of them a godly soul, a heavenly shape that does not take place in other forms of life. Everyone has spirits, even the trees, they have spirits, and the animals, they have spirits, a little bit higher and more elevated and more like closer to spiritual. But human beings, they have something inside of them that is called Tselem Eloka. It's the heavenly shape. Now, again, like we said, heavenly shape. How the heavens has shape? How can you say that the Creator has a shape if he is above shape, if he is above form? So the shape is taking place only when that endless light is being reflected in those low levels of physicality, in the downstairs, in the low levels of creation, in the world of actions. Over there in the world of actions, over here in the physical world of actions, over here you can see the light in forms, but the real light is really above shape. So when you see forms, when you see a nose, when you see lips, when you see hair, you see face, you see hands, you hear a voice, you smell the smell of nature, when you feel and sense physicality, it's true that that's your way to grasp it, that was the reason why it's been created, because we are limited as creations, and the Creator wanted us to experience his being, and there was no other way to experience his being, his godliness, his goodness, unless he will create someone to be there, someone to accept it, someone to receive it. So he had to create us. And because that after you create someone from being so great, now you need to create someone, and he becomes to be so small, not because he's small, physically small, We don't know what our real size is. Everything is compared. You think that you're small compared to your house. You think your house is small compared to a hotel. You think that that hotel is small compared to a whole city. Or like, okay, but you don't really know the sizes of things, because really there is endless. There is the infinity is surrounding you, and in infinity, in eternity, you have a rule that between any 2 points you can put another point. Any 2 dots, the closest that you're going to mark them, you can put another one inside. And now you put the third one between them. Okay, so now you can put another one in between, and you can put another one in between. Okay, so like, and it's expanding, and it's growing and growing and growing and growing, and like, hey, but there was only 2 points in the beginning. Yeah, but it's endless. So when things are endless, you cannot measure them, you cannot estimate them, you cannot say what their quantity is. You can never understand, because really there is nothing to compare it to, except for if you choose to compare it to something, and then you can say, I can compare to the house, compare to the building, compare to the hotel, compare to the ground, to the to the land. Okay, but that's your thought. It does not reflect reality. In reality, the truth is that we don't understand what's going on here, because everything is spiritual. Just that spirit, that divine and illuminating spirit, is taking place in forms, means being reflected into layers on layers of physicality, and then being expressed to us in shapes, in colors, in forms. And okay, now I can smell it. Okay, now I can touch it. Oh, my glasses, thank you. It's not, those are not glasses. That's your ability to see that you lost without them. This is something way deeper. This is something that the Creator is doing. There is no, oh, I lost my glasses. No, you lost something way deeper than your glasses. When you're feeling something, oh, I feel love, oh, I love you, I like it. Something divine is taking place in your life. Something spiritual is happening in your life. Now, the only question is to which level you are attached, to what level you are aware of. What you are aware of. Do you aware to the physical, oh, it's bitter, it's sour, it's sweet, it's salty, or that something is talking to you from inside and you can get the message, a bigger, a greater message. To all that we came because we wanted to say that the Creator's nose is something. But yes, the Creator does not have a nose, but the Creator's nose is something that needs to be discussed. If we want to get practical about these teachings, about this learning, so how can we get practical about it? This is why it's so hard to learn Torah, because maybe with me it's so hard to learn Torah. Because when I'm reading one verse and I want to explain to you what that I understand while learning it, it takes me a whole hour to explain a couple of words. But that's the way I learn it. What can I do? That's all those things I came to my thought when I read those words, and I wanted to explain to you what we're reading. So I had to go into that. Okay, so practically, when we want to understand what's going on, like I once spoke about it, and I had very nice comments from people about it, and you shown interest in that learning of how to find the spiritual meaning for physical pain, for physical situations that we're going through. And it's also the way to interpret your dreams and to understand the supervision of the Creator on your life. It's very easy. It's very easy, and just need to focus on it a little bit, and then you'll be able to understand a lot about it. And I'll tell you, is that everything is being interpreted, everything must be interpreted by you. What does it mean by you? It means that if now something happened to you, It happened to you for you to be able to attach yourself and to connect yourself to the Creator from it, through it, with it. And even if the exact same thing would happen to me, it would teach me something totally else. If I'm sensitive to lactose and you're sensitive to lactose, it doesn't mean that the same thing happened to us, because me, I'm a different person. It's like that you're going to say, hey, I have 1 meter of fabric. Okay, one person will make a suit with it, and one person will build a tent from it. Like fabric, you know what you can do? You can cover your sofa with fabric, and you can make the most tiniest, most gentle puppets for your chinas that you want to cover with thin and very, very beautiful silk. It's different uses for, okay, I have 1 feet of fabric. Like, do you know how many options it can be? Also, 1 feet of fabric can be a line in a guiding book, instructions for sewing. It's like also the words are 1 feet of fabric. It's like it's also a word. It's also an idea. It can be my dream. Oh, if I would have 1 feet of that fabric, oh, it can be my dream. It can be not even a physical fabric. It can be so many things. Now, 1 feet of fabric, or sensitivity to lactose, or money in the bank or lack of money in the bank, or having a phone or not having a phone, or a tree or a lake or God or yourself, are different to every person in every situation. So when something happens in your life, or when you're learning Torah, or when you have a dream, or when something spiritual or physical happened to you, you need to run a conversation with yourself about that. And you need to ask yourself, what happened to me? Okay, when I dropped that cup, what did I drop? One person can drop his wife's cup. One can drop the cup that he inherited from his grandfather. One can drop another person's cup while he wanted to give him to drink, and he spilled water on him, and there is no connection to the importance of the cup, just that the water spilled or the coffee spilled on the sofa, and the sofa is the issue now. So you need to ask yourself, what happened to me now? And then to break it down. And then you need to break it down to deeper and deeper layers of your individual experience. I had a dream, and in the dream I was a soldier. I had a dream, and in the dreams I saw my parents. I had a dream, and in the dreams I saw someone flying in the air. All right, so tell me who that person was for you, and what you felt about it, and break it down and write it down if you need help, because your mind doesn't work so perfectly like you wished it would. Still, write it down for yourself, think about it, review it, and try. If something is still not clear, break it down again. That person, who was he for me in the dream? Was he expressing my fears? Was he expressing my angers? Or that he was my friend, it was my pal? He was reflecting confidence for me. He was reflecting loving kindness for me. What was the inner, deep wisdom, message, lesson that been expressed through that experience? So that's what I said about the spiritual interpretation of physical things that we're going through in life. If your hands are in pain, okay, my hands, what are my hands? For one person, the hands will reflect his ability to grab things, to grab life, to hold. For another person, it's the ability to sense something. The tips of your fingers are not the same organ like the palm of your hand or the back of your hand, are two different things. And your elbow is being used to lift something and to carry, but not as the shoulders that are carrying a yoke and heavier weights, and the spine. Every organ is being used for a physical use, right? So now just copy, paste to the spiritual message. Because like we explained, the light is one. The Creator is one. Everything is one, 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 one. There is only one. Just that the light is being reflected through different screens, through different layers of creation, different shades and blockings that are filtering and blocking the light from us to be seen, but for a use, for a purpose, for us to be able to perceive it, to digest it, to understand it. Because if we're just gonna get all the light in one shot, it can blind the person. It can blind you. And then that's it. Like, how can you deal with all the knowledge? How can you deal with all the light? You can't. And therefore the Creator is minimizing its own light into vessels, into forms, into shades, into different quantities and amounts and qualities, for you to be able to receive and enjoy His godliness in a pace and in a speed and in a way that you will be able to enjoy and grow from. And not more than that. Because if you will give more, it might become dangerous. And therefore we need to be thankful also for the constrictions, and also for the difficulties, and also for the hard experiences that we're going through. But that's probably going to be a topic for a different class. I don't know. Yesterday I saw, maybe I'll talk about it now. Yesterday I saw a short video. I wasn't able to see it all the way, thank God, but unfortunately it went all the way without me seeing it. It really happened. And there was a woman, a Muslim woman, that had been stoned by a group of sick men, probably for not following the commandments of her husband or something like horrible like that. And like she was totally covered and been stoned in a pit. They just threw her to a pit and they were stoning her like with rocks and probably killed her. And now, one can say, all right, Muslims, and one can say, okay, different state, okay, someone can, like, everyone can reject that thing away from him. No, like, I'm not like that, I'm not stoning no one, like, I would never do that, or like, everyone can say, what can I do about it, or what do you want from me, what's my connection to that? But so listen, what's your connection to that? Your connection to that is that the fact that you feel divided from that is your problem. The fact that you feel that, okay, it's a Muslim woman in a different state, like she was stoned in Africa, she was stoned in I don't know what, somewhere else, like in a different place on earth. The fact that you feel divided from that woman, that you feel that woman is not your sister, is not you, that's the main problem. That is the only reason why she was, so to speak, allowed to be killed for such filthy reason. No matter what the reason was, it's filthy, because it was not a Muslim woman. It was a woman in pain. It was a terrified woman. It was her feelings. It was her terrified and panic thoughts of anxiety, of enormous fear, of separation from her loved ones, of being attacked by violent, cruel and rude and filthy people with no heart. It was her feeling. It was her experience, and it's horrific. It's horrible. It's the worst that can be. And the fact that she was Muslim, there is no connection to that, to the war that we should put against those evil people that are allowing themselves to kill each other, to kill their own wives for no reason. In India, people are killing their wives like they going and grab a snack, like whatever, oh, well, my wife, kill her. Nonsense, going and taking out rumors, talking filthy things. Oh yeah, she was cheating me, she was doing this, she was doing that, and that's it, she will be killed. For what? Just because she was not washing the dishes in the right time when her husband told her, like filthy things. And we cannot accept those things. We cannot accept those things. Now, when the Creator created us, He created us as one man and as one soul. Adam and Eve were attached in the beginning. They had two sides to that coin, but to that person, but it was a one person. And since the separation, we started to experience the dividings, the separation of bodies, the dividing of bodies. And now when they had children, so the soul been apart in a new way and to a worse condition of separation. And everyone experienced life as an individual, but only because that he is now isolated. Only because that physically he is disconnected to his real being of being a soul. But as a soul, we are all one. As a soul, you and the grass, you and the lake, you and the fish in the pond, you're one. Because there is no one except for Him. And His light is taking place in different forms only, but only in the physical world. But when you look at things from a different aspect, this physical world is only curtains and filters that are blocking the godly light that is taking place in reality. And souls are being killed. Organs of your spiritual body is being disgraced and being destroyed and being humiliated and being abused. We hear horrible stories around the world on people that are experiencing horrible pain, people that are being hurt, people that are being kidnapped, people that are being abused, little children that are being sold for sex. Children that are being sold as sex objects, as slaves, sex slaves. Children, not a Chinese woman or a Muslim woman, no. The feelings of that little 5-year-old girl that just now been sold by her own parents, and she now going to be a slave for sick men for the rest of her life, and going to be abused by sick women for the rest of her life. If she going to live, if she not going to be murdered or slaughtered or killed. And now that's the world that we live in. And we need to change it. We must break it. And as an individual, we don't have power. Okay, go, fly to Japan. Go save the world. Go, fly to China, to India. Go, change the world. South Africa, Africa. Go. You can't do anything. As an individual, you can't do anything. You can sit and cry. You can sit and whine. You can pour yourself to death. You can't do anything. But we're not individuals. We are united. We are souls. And as souls, we have a lot of work to do. And that's what we need to do. We need to connect ourselves all the time together. And our togetherness is the power to make changes in the world. The enemies that are working against us, that are serving physicality, the dark forces of earth, are so dark and so powerful and so strong, and we need to destroy them from head to toe, from A to Z, from beginning till end. We need to destroy all evil from the world. Now, first of all, it starts when you control your evil, when you start being a nicer person to your surroundings, to your loved ones, to your family. That's where it starts. When you becoming a nicer person to your neighbors, to your community, to your surroundings, that's where it starts. And when you being active, when you help people around the world, with all your sources, with all your power, with all your might. And then the energy will help the universe. Your energy, your soul will help the universe. Your spirit will save lives of people. Because you will pray and you will cry and you will beg and you will give money and you will call and you make phone calls and you'll do a lot of things. And I will do my things and they will do their things. And only together we will accomplish things that we wouldn't be able to accomplish as individuals. But only when every one of us will decide to connect himself and to become one with that purpose of our life and to go and redeem the world. And redeem the world. So many flies in Orlando. You can never imagine. Say thank you to Hashem that you don't live in Orlando, and keep being positive with your good things that you do in your life. Be well. The world does not exist. Because Olam Milshon Ne'elem, the world is just blocking the light of truth. The world called Alma Deshika, world of light, is just a fake. We're just inside of an illusion. It's just a fake. We're just inside of an illusion.